Three men who pleaded guilty in last year's death of Antonio Franklin learned their sentence in court today.
Buckle up for a wild weather ride ahead. It's a busy 7-day forecast on the way.
Mexico is bracing for a massive hurricane headed for the western part of the country.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Welcome to WKYT News at 4. I'm Amber Philpott reporting. Jennifer has the afternoon off. All right, you're going to need your umbrella for this weekend. But first, take a look at this live look at one of our sky cams showing downtown Lexington. It's still beautiful out there, but rain moves in tomorrow, putting an end to this nice stretch of weather we've been having. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is here now to show us what we can expect tonight and then into tomorrow. How about it, Chris?
It has been one heck of a weather ride. We got to give Mother Nature props so far for this fall, but the old payback factor is going to be strong in the coming days. We were looking at a downtown Lexington, similar sky showing up on top of Hamburg Pavilion, noticing a little more in the way of some cloud cover this afternoon. And those temperatures right now across much of central and eastern Kentucky are featuring readings that are into the low and mid 70s in the east, mid to upper 70s across much of the region. 77 here at the station as of now. Humidity is at 45%. Winds getting ready to crank up, and look on that western skyline, noticing more in the way of clouds that are showing up into parts of western Kentucky ahead of a cold front that has a push of chill coming in behind it. The biggest moisture plume coming at us from parts of the Texas area into the northeast, and we're also, the deeper we get into this forecast period, going to concentrate on a Pacific hurricane. Had the strongest winds ever recorded in a hurricane this close to the United States a little earlier today. That is Patricia, and some of the computer models, you see the little squiggly lines there, eventually take whatever is left of that and bring it into the Gulf of Mexico and eventually into the Ohio Valley middle of next week. And Amber, that's why we're talking about some worries in that 7-day forecast for that big storm that I'm tracking for the middle of next week. A busy 7-day to say the absolute least in 15 minutes.
That it certainly is, Chris. Thank you. Three men who admitted to playing a role in a deadly shooting learned their punishment today. The three were sentenced in the shooting death of 21-year-old Antonio Franklin. Police say he was an innocent bystander when he was gunned down in Duncan Park in 2014. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy has more on the hearing in our top story at 4.
Anita Franklin told us that she holds the parents of the three men who pleaded guilty in court today equally responsible for her son's death.
When I look at Mr. Dixon, and Mr. Brown, I know they're just children. I hold their parents accountable.
Franklin sat through all three sentencings Friday afternoon. Nasheem Dixon, the man accused of shooting her son, will serve 10 years on a manslaughter charge, 2 years on 2 wanton endangerment charges, and 1 year on a criminal attempt charge. Combined with time served, he'll be out of prison in less than 10 years. Dixon and his two co-defendants, William Dixon and Brian Brown, apologized for what they all called a tragic, senseless event. Investigators say Antonio Franklin Jr. was never the intended target of the gunfire at Duncan Park back in April of last year. He was 21 years old.
Antonio won't get to go to school. Antonio won't be able to live his dreams out. And you have two young men who were riding in a car, who knew what happened, and who laid low until they were caught.
Between being in custody, in jail, and time served on home incarceration, both William Dixon and Brian Brown have served out their sentences. In Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Both William Dixon and Brian Brown received 2 years on wanton endangerment charges. A crash in Scott County has claimed the life of a southern Kentucky man. It happened on Cherry Blossom Way in front of the Toyota plant in Georgetown. The coroner says 33-year-old Robert Griffin Jr. of London died instantly when he crashed into an SUV that turned in front of him. Griffin was a contractor at Toyota and was on his lunch break when he was killed. He leaves behind a wife of 16 years and a set of twins who are turning 14 on Monday. We're working on a number of other stories for you on WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam joins us now from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Amber. The University of Kentucky beginning work on a new building today. The research facility will be dedicated to address health challenges and disparities in Kentucky. It costs $265 million, with half that money coming from the state, the other from the university. We'll tell you when it will open on WKYT News coming up at 4:30. A murdered veteran was buried this morning. A service for James Holiness took place at the Kentucky Veterans Cemetery North in Williamstown. John Kaywood is accused of killing Holiness in Lexington last week. We'll show you the honor Holiness received at the burial on WKYT News at 5:30. We're just a week away from the Breeders' Cup. Thousands and thousands of people expected to pack Keeneland for the two-day event. So what's being done to make sure it's safe and a fun time for everyone who attends? We take a look at security tonight on WKYT News at 6. That's a look at some of the news in progress on this Friday. Amber, back to you.
Sam, thank you. Now to some stories making headlines across the nation at 4. Lincoln Chafee is ending his Democratic presidential campaign. The former Rhode Island governor made the announcement this morning at a women's forum held by the Democratic National Committee. Chafee's departure leaves 3 main candidates in the race: Hillary Clinton, Senator Bernie Sanders, and former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. A shooter remains on the run after a deadly shooting at Tennessee State in Nashville. 1 person was killed and 3 were injured. Police say a fight over a dice game led to the shooting in a courtyard on campus. The 19-year-old who died was not a university student. Police say the other victims were innocent bystanders. Rain is pounding parts of Texas, causing flooding in that area. Flooding washed away a mobile home, and no one was hurt, though. It also quickly turned roads into waterways. High water swallowed an ambulance and led to 30 swift water rescues.
Pretty much I was just driving and I got stuck. GPSs don't know that there's going to be waterlogged little areas.
Storms also knocked out power to more than 2,000 people. An historic hurricane is set to make landfall along Mexico's western coast. Patricia went from tropical storm to Category 5 hurricane in just a day. It's packing sustained winds of 200 miles an hour. Several resorts and hotels are in evacuation mode. As Polo Sandoval reports, the U.S. may also be impacted by this potentially catastrophic storm.
A view from outer space is enough to see why Patricia is the largest and strongest hurricane ever recorded. Meteorologists monitored the cyclone as it intensified from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in less than 24 hours. The potential for Patricia to cause massive death and destruction is prompting thousands along Mexico's Pacific coast to flee inland. The airport in the popular resort city of Puerto Vallarta is closed until further notice, while planes are being diverted around the monster storm. First Lieutenant Lisa Freilich and a reconnaissance crew flew right into it.
The best description I can relate it to is going on a roller coaster, that constant dropping out of your stomach.
Freilich says the storm isn't weakening, at least not yet.
When we left it, it was still intensifying. And each pass, we did 3 passes through the eye last night, and each one we did, it kept getting stronger and stronger.
Meteorologists predict Patricia could dump as much as 20 inches of rain in parts of Mexico, causing flooding and triggering mudslides. What's left of the hurricane should drift north into the southern region of the U.S., where parts of the Lone Star State are already under flash flood watches. I'm Polo Sandoval reporting.
Hurricane Patricia's rapid rise is due in part to this year's El Nino weather phenomenon. Soon, Wall Street ended the week on a good note. The Dow finished up more than 17,000. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 also finished the week in positive territory. The average price of food continues to decrease in Kentucky. The Kentucky Farm Bureau Federation's latest market basket survey found the cost of 40 basic grocery items totaled $121. That's down 3.5% from the last survey. The lower prices were across all departments except poultry and dairy products. Bundling your car and home insurance can save you hundreds of dollars each year. A new report from InsuranceQuotes.com says consumers save an average of nearly $300 a year. The state with the highest savings is Louisiana. Customers there save nearly $550. Virginia is the lowest and at under $200 saved. Starting Sunday, Best Buy will offer free shipping on all purchases through January 2nd. The electronics chain normally requires customers to spend at least $35 before it will ship items for free. Best Buy is trying to compete with companies like Amazon, Walmart, and Target. MasterCard is trying out a new technology that may be perfect for people who love taking selfies. It lets shoppers make a transaction with a picture of their face. Rachel Kim shows us how it works.
Cheese. 1, 2, 3. Lucky stone. Say cheese. A major credit card company is testing out a new mobile app that one day could let you pay with your selfie instead of your password.
I think that it would probably work really well.
I don't take selfies myself, so I wouldn't really say it's what I would do.
Here's how the app being tested works. After you download MasterCard's Identity Check app, go shopping online. When it's time to check out, you tap and verify the amount. Take a selfie and blink. The transaction is approved and you're done.
The blink prevents thieves from showing a picture of your face to the app. It then uses facial recognition technology to compare the picture you just took to the one you created when you enrolled.
Security and convenience are sort of at opposite ends of each other.
Gifford Hesketh is with Face First, a company specializing in facial recognition technology. He says the technology isn't good for high security applications.
It might look like me sometimes, it might not look like me sometimes, right? I mean, if I'm looking at the camera now, I can sort of tilt my chin up or tilt my chin down, and I look like two completely different people.
MasterCard says the selfie payment option appeals to millennials and cuts out the need to remember a password.
For CBS News, I'm Rachel Kim, Los Angeles, California.
The app allows you to choose your face or your fingerprint. Right now, some 200 people are testing it in the U.S.
There's an injury collision at Manowar and Sir Martin over in the Hamburg area. Bad time of the day for that from a traffic standpoint. It looks like we're backed up on the inner and outer loops of Manowar trying to get past that point, approaching Sir Martin. Also over to Nicholasville and Tiverton, where an entry crash has the right outbound lane blocked. Traffic slow and 8 to 10 minute delay through there. Don't forget about Keeneland traffic this afternoon on Purcell's Road. Got an impact around the airport of about 10 minutes. Now back to you in the studio.
Oh, to be at Keeneland. Well, to become a WKYT Live driver and download the Waze app, go to WKYT.com. Under the News tab, click on Traffic for more information. Chris Bailey, feeling a little hungry?
I'm always hungry.
All right, guest chefs, cooking demonstrations, hundreds of sampling and selling products. It is all part of this year's Kentucky Proud Incredible Food Show.
I'm hungrier now. Deanne Stevens out and about today at Lexington Center, sampling some of the fun. Bring us back something, Deanne.
Good afternoon, guys. We are here at the Lexington Center preparing for a very busy day tomorrow. This young lady here, Bridget Nguyen, with us. I always love talking to her. I love talking to you because I just want to hand over the microphone here. This is your job today.
I don't know what I'm doing with this. I can handle this arena.
Well, it's a good thing because I can't. We are talking about the Kentucky Proud Incredible Food Show, which is always an awesome show, Bridget.
Oh my gosh, it's such a fun day. We can't wait. The day goes by so fast. It's 9 to 5, so really you can spend the whole day here if you're a food lover, which is everyone. But people get here early because breakfast is available for the first 300 people through the door, and people are lined up bright and early.
When you talk about breakfast, you got to talk about biscuits. And there's something a little special going on with biscuits this year.
There is a new feature of the show. It's called Biscuit Alley, and local restaurants, caterers, bakeries are making their best version of a biscuit, so you can come sample and vote on it. In addition to sampling a gazillion different items, I think this is our biggest marketplace ever. We have more than 150 vendors coming to sell their wares. So you can taste wine, you can taste beer, but you can also come and sample any variety of coffees, teas, granolas, crackers, jarred sauces. And then I think it's great to get a jump start on holiday shopping.
And so many Kentucky Proud items as well, right? And quick tips. You're going to be here doing quick tips right here where we're located in the Lexington.
Yeah, we're calling it kind of a drive-by learning lab. So what's really fun about that is as you're walking through the marketplace, or if you want to actually keep an eye on the schedule, you can come by and see any variety of demos, things on fall vegetables. I'll be doing things on biscuits. So there are a couple different quick tips, not to mention the seminar rooms where you can learn about how to maintain your cast iron, or if you want to start a small business. And another thing I think is really fun is entertaining, and Mulberry and Lime will have kind of an entertaining room where you can get tips on how to throw an effortless Thanksgiving, set a beautiful table.
I'm thinking I could benefit from all of the above.
Well, you better come on.
The whole quick tips and more. All right. Tickets. How do folks get tickets?
Oh, yes. Well, you can buy them here. You can also jump on IncredibleFoodShow.com and get a $3 off ticket. It's $20 general admission with $3 off. And then the great thing is that accesses Carla Hall's presentations at 11 and 3, and then everything you see here.
9 to 5 tomorrow, the Kentucky Proud Incredible Food Show. I saw Kenny showing you. He's getting hungry. He's like, get on with it, Deanne. Coming up at 4:50, a stovetop cobbler. Smells and looks amazing. We'll have more with Bridget when we return here on WKYT.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. A recall alert today parents will want to know about. Build-A-Bear is recalling its Star Bright Dragon stuffed animal. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the seam can open, exposing stuffing material, and that poses a choking hazard. If you have one, return it to the store for a coupon to get another bear. Mazda is recalling more than 1 million vehicles in the U.S. because ignition switches can overheat and catch fire. The recall impacts 7 models. So far, no injuries or accidents have been reported in the U.S. Dealers will replace the ignition switches starting in December. Children in the U.S. live without enough food. The American Academy of Pediatrics says hunger is an ongoing health risk that can have a lifelong impact. For the first time, the group says all children should be screened to identify households that may lack adequate food. And doctors could soon have a new tool to screen for breast cancer. Scientists at Florida International University have developed an optical handheld scanner to create 3D imaging in real time. The scanner will go to the Food and Drug Administration for approval. And a new study confirms major knee injuries are on the rise among student athletes. Researchers analyzed insurance billings from the past 20 years and found the number of ACL tears has increased nearly 2.5% each year. For